Hey everyone, and welcome to this month's portfolio update in April. We've seen some really strong market moves following Trump's tariffs, and I've been making a few shifts in the portfolio, trimming some positions where I thought the upside was priced in, but also adding to areas that I see as undervalued with solid long-term potential. So let's dive right in. I'll start with what I'm selling, and the first stock is Twilio. It had a great Q4 of 2024 with nearly $1.2 billion in revenue. It was up 11% year on year, and they posted their first ever quarter of GAAP profitability. And the stock has rallied really hard on the back of this, and so I'm just taking some profits while sentiment is high. Northern Trust is the next one. Trust fees are up 12%, net interest income up 15%, and earnings per share growth of 24% for the year. It's been such a strong run. And if valuation is stretched too far, it makes sense to me to trim and reallocate to some better opportunities. I also sold Adidas. It had 12% currency neutral growth in 2024. Brand strength is intact and a 330 basis point improvement in gross margin. But given market volatility and some lingering risks in consumer spending, I've decided to lock in some gains here. I also sold some international consolidated airlines. That's IAG. It had 9% revenue growth, 27% jump in operating profit. Airlines have been in recovery mode since COVID, but fuel prices and economic uncertainty could weigh on the sector, taking some profits off the table. IBM also had a solid year, 12.7 billion in free cash flow, the highest in years. But given its slower growth profile, it's a good candidate, I think, to trim and deploy elsewhere. Shopify saw 31% year-on-year revenue growth, free cash flow margin of 18%. It's executed really well. But after a big rally, I'm considering reducing exposure and banking some of the gains. Netflix had 19 million new subscribers in Q4, revenue up 16%. It's a record-setting quarter. Strong fundamentals, but the stock moved up so fast, I'm trimming the position because of that. Spotify had its best ever Q4 as well for monthly active user growth and subscriptions. The market has priced in a lot of optimism as it has for all of these stocks, so I'm locking in some of the gains. Another Mag 7 stock I've sold is Meta, 21% revenue growth, solid user growth. I still really like it for the long term and I'm keeping hold of some of it, but just reducing exposure after such a good run up. So moving on to what I'm buying. Ocado is the first one. Yes, it is still loss making, but I think the growth trajectory is improving. Their tech-driven logistics model has long-term potential, and I see this as a beaten down opportunity, which is what I always love to find. JP Morgan recently upgraded it from neutral to overweight, and they said that they think the tide is turning for the business. Enphase Energy, it has a high price to earnings ratio with strong growth expectations. Despite Trump's win shifting the political landscape, global energy trends are still favouring renewables. I see this as an opportunity. Here in the UK, they've also partnered with the popular energy supplier Octopus, which I'm really happy about. Sibanye-Stillwater is another one that I've added to. It does have a negative price to earnings at the moment, but operational improvements are happening. Precious metals demand remains strong, and I think this is a long-term bet on commodities, and we've seen gold has done so well recently. Samsung is another one that I've picked up. Continues to innovate across semiconductors and consumer electronics. With AI and chip demand increasing, I think it's a really solid long-term position. There are some short-term concerns, especially with China recently limiting exports of precious metals, but I think it'll be fine. Moderna is another one that I really like. Their pipeline beyond COVID is what really interests me. The mRNA technology is still evolving, and if they make breakthroughs in cancer or other therapies, this could be a major long-term play. So to summarize, markets had a super strong 2024, and these tariff wars has so far induced a market correction. But I'm sticking to the game plan, ignoring all the noise and just consistently looking for the signal. All volatility is an opportunity to me. So that's it for this month. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What are you buying and selling right now? And I'll see you next time.